think 2023 will go down indefensible as the year where we found out that stuff like the Xbox tax is 100% accurate, it's 100% real, and at the end of the day, people are going to have to kind of come to grips with that and understand that, you know, as far as things are concerned in the video game world, you know, not everything is even. You know, as much as we'd all like things to be even, it's not. And, you know, clearly, you know, I could go on and on about Xbox taxes and things like that, and people could, you know, get pissed off or angry, or we could talk about it. But, you know, for me, it never makes sense to claim otherwise. You know, we see it pretty damn clear that PlayStation gets different treatment. If this hack of Insomniac, which, you know, I'm appalled by it, right? Like, I don't think it was it's a terrible thing regardless. And, you know, the thing that's interesting to me is Microsoft had issues with leaks and everybody was quick to report on it. You know, Nvidia had leaks and everyone was quick to report on it. Capcom had the same type of leaks, ransomware kind of leaks, and everybody reported on it. GTA 6 had leaks, everybody reported on it. But now everybody's suddenly ethical and ethics are in play here, and, you know, etc. And you know, it was also interesting because with the end of the year comes awards, but also where people go, okay, well, here's the most disappointing things of 2023. And what's funny was you see places like IGN front and center. What's on there as one of the most disappointing things? Well, you guessed it, Starfield as one of the most disappointing things. Now, it's pretty ridiculous to think about it. It's an 85 open critic, and, you know, people want to act like it failed somehow. But here's the interesting thing. They came out and announced 13 million players and a ton of other stats. So how could that be a disappointment? 85 on OpenCritic, 13 million players. More people are playing Starfield and have played Starfield than that played Baldur's Gate, that played Spider-Man 2, that played Alan Wake 2, that played any of these other games, right? And people want to say it was a disappointment. So Bethesda teased some other things coming to Starfield as well. It looks like Starfield's going to have a fantastic 2024. But following this, the company also shared player count, revealing that 13 million players have joined Constellation since the game's launch in September. You know, once again, just think about this for a second. In September, right? So, you know, in a few months, it's gained 13 million players. Crazy. Once again, it's Bethesda's biggest launch in its history, and to celebrate the milestone, it released a new infographic combining all the player stats and revealing a bunch of fun facts. Like, the average playtime per player was roughly 40 hours, and combined was able to, the combined planets visited was over 2 billion. So think about this for a second. You have the average person. So there's 13 million people that have played this game. The average playthrough a person has played for 40 hours at least. That's a huge number of hours being played on this game. How can that be looked at as anything negatively? Back in October, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella noticed how they set another record on launch for most Game Pass subscription added on a single day ever. In saying this, no specific figures were shared, but, you know, it's still a huge number because they've had some pretty big games added to it. So when you see this, that is a huge deal. 13 million people in a few months. You know, it was already the biggest game ever for Bethesda. And what's super interesting about this is the fact that, you know, Bethesda was able to do this and Xbox was able to succeed here without putting their stuff on PlayStation. So that means that they're free to do this, and they don't have to worry about, hey, is this game going to be successful if we don't put it on PlayStation? I think obviously, you know, you have a situation where, yes, it is successful, and this has been incredibly successful, right? They posted their best, you know, whatever, quarter, monthlies or whatever, after Starfield, and Starfield was the big thing that helped get them there. So, you know, we're starting to see how this is like starting to kind of come into line from Microsoft. I think that it's fantastic. Obviously, Microsoft has a lot of stuff going for themselves. that they'll continue to I think do well for it. But this wasn't the only bit of information about Starfield to really get excited about. Bethesda has 6 major new features coming to Starfield in 24. The Starfield team at Bethesda shared some final end of the year messages, including all the numbers that I just gave you. We've already heard about some of the Starfield features recently, including all new ways of traveling, which have not yet been disclosed. So here's the list of Starfield features in 2024 that have been teased. City maps, new ways to travel, new ways to customize your ship, new gameplay options to further adjust difficulty, official mod support with the launch of Creations, and their first story expansion, Shattered Space. In addition to these, they'll be getting regular updates for Starfield every 6 weeks throughout the year. This will start in February, which is when the first major update will arrive. Apparently more info on all these will be teased. Starfield features will be coming in the near future, but in the meantime, the team has thanked the fans and teased that it can't wait to continue the journey in the new year. And I quote, "As the year draws to a close, we want to say thank you from our whole team for all the time you've spent in Starfield and all the passion you have for the game." So, man, I think that that's incredible. Obviously people are going to, hate on things, and that's exactly kind of what happened here. People hated on it. You see a lot of the hate. Could be legitimate. Listen, not every game is for everyone. But you do see a lot of the hate from like salty PlayStation fans a lot of the time that just weren't able to play the game, and they're upset that Xbox had like such a high caliber game. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I think Microsoft is really onto something with the things that they've been doing lately. So I think clearly Microsoft is going to have to kind of shrug off some of the criticisms here. Not saying, hey, you don't listen to any of it. I think obviously there has been some criticisms. Like, I love the game; it was my game of the year. But to think that I was perfectly fine thinking it was like perfect, I think that would have been disingenuous, because I felt like the cities needed maps so you could find your way. I felt like probably would have, like, that was, I think, the main thing for me was, it would have been nice to have the city maps there or whatever, with like, okay, here's where you get health packs, or here's where you get this or whatever, as opposed to the way they did it, which is kind of a pain in the ass. Also, some kind of rovers for the planets. Like, I thought that would have been something that would have been cool, to actually have different ways to kind of get around on the surface of these planets. But at the end of the day, they didn't do that. I hope that they fix things at some point to where those couple of issues are, better, whatever. I can't wait to dive into the expansion later on sometime next year as well. I think it's going to be a good one. I love the game. I thought it was fantastic. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for this? Let me know down below. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a like and also subscribe. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.